She just brought an ease and confidence and comfortableness. One of the things Roone understood was that television has you in strangers' living rooms, so you better not make them uneasy. And Cokie was a good guest in a stranger's living room. Then in midlife, she became a storyteller, publishing her first book at age 54, We Are Our Mother's Daughters, which reached #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. 4 other bestsellers followed, 5 if you include a children's version of one history book, all of which focused on researching and resurrecting the contributions women have always made to American history while seldom getting the recognition they deserve. As Catherine Algor, head of the Massachusetts Historical Society, told me, the biggest thing that she did was let Americans know there was a history out there they were not aware of. That just made a huge difference. There's one story that sums up what those books were all about. In Founding Mothers, which focuses on the Revolutionary period, Cokie writes about the enormous contribution Martha Washington made to the American cause, spending winters in camp with the soldiers and bolstering their spirits. And it really bothered her that the sign outside of Mount Vernon down the Potomac River from the Capitol read, Home of George Washington, with no mention of Martha. As Mary Thompson, a historian at Mount Vernon, tells the tale, Cokie relentlessly pestered the director of the site to change the sign. Thompson usually drove into the grounds on a back road, but one day happened to pass through the front gate and saw that the sign had been altered to read, Home of George and Martha Washington. Her reaction was to shout, Yay, Cokie, because I'm sure that was her doing. Politics is our family business, Cokie once told People magazine, and if anything, that was an understatement. Her first ancestor to serve in Congress was W.C.C. Claiborne, elected to the House from Tennessee in 1797 at the age of 23, the youngest federal lawmaker in the country's entire history. So her parents were part of a long and well-established tradition. Author Steve Hess counted 11 Claibornes, Cokie's middle name and her mother's maiden name, in major public office over 7 generations, and rated her family as the second most prominent in American political history, outranking the Kennedys and trailing only the Roosevelts because they had 2 presidents. She really became a journalist by accident, mainly because she married one. When a Washington Post reporter asked her, Did you consider entering politics yourself? She gave this revealing answer. Well, I certainly admire people who do it, but Steve and I met when we were 18 and 19. He was always going to be a journalist from the time he was like 9 or 10 years old, so it would have been very hard on him if I had gone into politics. I've always felt semi-guilty about it, but I've sort of assuaged my guilt by writing about it and feeling like I'm educating people about the government, how to be good voters and good citizens. And that's been true through my reporting, but also through writing these history books. I feel like letting people know what this country is all about and how it all happened is not public service. And then she laughed. Reporting the news and writing history, however, didn't fully erase her guilt. She wanted more latitude to espouse the causes she felt deeply about, and in 2002, at age 58, she quit her full-time job as co-anchor of ABC's Sunday show This Week. While she had many reasons for doing that, one of the most important was freeing her up to spend more time and energy directly promoting the welfare of women and children. She was diagnosed with breast cancer that same year, and while she had decided to leave the show before she got sick, her illness reinforced her decision to reorder her priorities. After a lot of research, she joined the board of Save the Children, the worldwide relief organization, and Charlie McCormick, who was then the organization's CEO, recalls meeting Cokie for the first time. She talked about her commitment to girls and women. It was pretty central to what she hoped would be her legacy. It was clear that was really consuming to her, a passion, and that's what we needed. I asked if she talked about her diagnosis, and McCormick, whose wife also had breast cancer, replied, "Oh, yes." She said, "I've got to rebalance my time because I don't know how much time I have left." Passion is the right word to describe Cokie's work as an advocate.